Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. So today we are going to do a 2-year update on the Red Sea S-1000, which is my main display tank. And it's had its up and downs for the last, I would say 6 months or so. Some weird things happened, which we'll get into. Some great things happened, some bad things happened. One thing happened basically yesterday, and it was pretty bad. But yeah, we'll get right into it. And even though it looks great, I would say it's been better. I guess you could say. But let's get into it. So the Red Sea tank itself, so the S-1000, has been doing pretty well. At least it hasn't exploded yet. But with these armored seams that it has, as you can see, there's a little bit of crustiness here on the edges. I try not to go too close to it, just to not hit it, but I think that should, every tanky should be like that. Don't just ram the edges of the silicone. It's gonna cause problems. And I don't do that, so it shouldn't really be an issue. But luckily for me, I look at the seams about once a week just to see how it's doing. It doesn't seem to be deteriorated in any way after these 2 years, which is amazing. The Euro bracing, honestly, I love the black Euro bracing on this tank. I've mentioned it in previous episodes too. I think I will never get a tank that doesn't have Euro bracing. It is just so convenient to be able to put stuff on top of here, and also because it has Euro brace and it's not rimless, you don't get that white filmy kind of like calcium deposit on the water line of this tank, so you never get like the crusty little bits that you can kind of see right there, and that saves me so much trouble. It's one of the things that really annoyed me as far as the rimless Red Sea tanks, and it makes it so much better. And also having the black silicone on top gives it kind of a picture frame look, which I've kind of really grown to enjoy. Now, as far as the sump goes, everything's more or less the same as it's always been. I currently have the Red Sea roller mat and just a bunch of live rock. Nothing itself has actually changed as far as the bottom goes. Very simple tank, just a calc reactor, and then my skimmer right here. Nothing fancy, no UVs, for example. And then as far as the rest of the tank, I do dose 2-part, which is the main form of dosing, and the calc just kind of compensates and also gives that high pH. But those are my 2 modes of dosing this tank for calcium, because clearly I have a lot of sticks, and we do need that in order for them to grow. But as I've always said, keeping it simple really does work. You don't have to get overly complicated. A lot of things can be done, very simply without the use of technology. So besides, my basic dosing, I would say that is pretty much it. We do have the frag tank right here. I currently don't have much in it. I'm not doing any shows, so I haven't cut coral. And on top of that, I did have a whole bunch of coral recently, but I traded it in at our local fish store for some credit, just so I can, get some more fish, get some more coral, whatever fits my needs. We have the beautiful Colorado sunburst right here. And that was in the little tank, but I decided to move it back because it seems to really like it in this box. I really wish I could leave it on like a rock, but I don't know why. It really likes that box, so it's just gonna stay there until I figure out what I want to do with it. But overall in here, looks pretty good. I do have a little bit of bubble algae, but nothing a tang can't fix really quick, or my fox face can't fix really quick. But overall in the last 2 years, I would say the tank itself has done super well. Nothing really to complain about at all. So let's move on to the lighting. So as seen in the previous episode, I did get the OR4s, which is the light bars, from Orphic to match with my icons, which are also from Orphic. Over the last 2 years, the icons have done super well. Clearly, they can grow coral, so there's no doubt about that there. And like I mentioned previously, they are a little bit overly white. They don't have a whole lot of blue, which is why the Aurora Forest came perfect and added that extra pop, that extra blue, just to get more color out of it. Now, in the near future, I am thinking about, or I am considering switching out the icons. And that is for a couple reasons. I do feel like the colors are a little bit weird. They look great in photos and videos, but in person, I do feel like there's something wrong. I'm really not sure what it is. It's not like they're bad or anything, but I just feel like the color's a little bit off, or they could be better, and I'm willing to try another main fixture in order to get that done. If anybody has any good recommendations, let me know in the comments below. And as long as they're not Radions, I might consider it, because I actually don't like the look of Radions. I actually really favor, for example, the Red Seas, which is what's under there and lighting up the Colorado sunburst. So that was one of my considerations, but I'm not sure yet. The Orphic Aura Force I will definitely be keeping no matter what. I do like the pop that comes out of it. They do add a good dimension of color. And of course, you know, I paid a pretty penny for them and I just got them, so they are definitely not leaving. But the icons, they are an option, especially since also they're ridiculously heavy. They are 15 pounds a piece. They are not light lights. So the weight, I think, could be a little bit better. There are a lot of fixtures. For example, the Meridian was one example. I'm considering getting those, or maybe I can test them from somebody. But I did ask, and their 60-something inch fixture only weighs 18 pounds. So their whole fixture weighs the same weight as one light, which to me is crazy. But that is one factor I've considered. On top of color, which is the weight of everything, just because, you know, though this is built pretty darn well, I do want this to last basically forever, and not having, you know, 45 pounds, 50 pounds of weight on it would definitely make it last a lot longer, I feel like. But overall, still super good. Might change the lights. It's just something, you know, we might consider for 2025. Now, as far as the coral inhabitants, they have been doing super well. I have had a couple issues recently. For example, I did kind of have a weird bacterial thing come into my tank. I'm not sure where, because I didn't buy anything new, but I had something kind of just kill almost all my torches. So for example, I had a large colony of Holy Grail torches. There was, I would say, 7-8 heads, and now I am down to 1. I don't know what it was. I couldn't stop it. I tried dips, I tried everything, but basically these 3 and these 3 are what I have left as far as torches. So we basically just have to start over. I don't know what it was. I really wasn't able to cure it with any of the infected heads, and they just brown jellied. And what I did was basically just do repeated water changes for a couple days to fix the issue. I just kept doing water changes until, you know, it fixed itself, because I couldn't get any of these dips or anything else to work. So it is what it is. I mean, I still have one of each, so I'm okay with that. This one's struggling just a little bit, but it is coming back. This one is super happy. It's just a little pissed right now because I turned off the flow. But as far as torches, that is what is left of them. And, you know, we start at ground zero and we grow them back again. It is what it is. Now, as far as the other coral in the tank, we do have the Zoas. They have been doing super well. There is a bald spot on top because I had a rock with Zoas growing on it right there, and a couple others, and I just ripped them off. So now we kind of have a little bit of a bald spot. But colors are super good, growth is super good as well, and I have this big colony of acro just sitting here on top for right now. I don't know what to do with it, but we'll just keep it there for right now because it kind of fits there a little bit, right? I wish it was maybe a little bit higher, but where it is currently isn't too bad. As we move to the right, we do have our mushroom rock, which has been doing okay. The most important one is the jawbreakers right there in the back. It was one, and in the last couple months, it finally split into three. I don't know what kind of caused that to split into three, but I'll definitely take it. And then we have the beautiful Koji water right there. I had a big colony, and a portion of it melted, and I'm not sure why. This is also what is left of that. And it is also doing super well. So, hey, we'll take it. It's still alive. I didn't mention this in any of the videos, but we do have the clams right here. So I did get this from my local fish store with some of my credit. One is a beautiful bluish color, but it's a little hard to see right now. And the other one I just got because I really like that pattern, but it is brown. But these two have been in my tank for a couple of months now, and they've been doing super good, nice and fluffy. I just wanted to try clams again. I've had them for a short time, like short periods, 3-6 months, and then they usually just kind of die off. So hopefully that doesn't happen, but we'll see. Probably the best coral in my tank that's handled almost everything are going to be my hammers. So there's a set right here, and there's a whole bunch kind of just all around the tank. But these hammers are absolutely unfazed by anything that is happening in this tank. They just keep growing and growing. I've cut them repeatedly. They grow some more. I sell them to the fish tank, sell them to my fish store. They grow some more, and it's just a non-ending cycle. So luckily, something in my tank has decided, at least not yet, to die and kick the bucket. And next up, we have our little Ghanies. So these have been doing pretty well, though I will say they haven't really grown much at all. This one is a new addition from just a month ago. If you've watched my old Red Sea videos, I had a big Ghani the size of like a wiffle ball, a pretty big wiffle ball. It's the same color as this one, so I'm hoping I have the same luck I did with that other Ghani in the old tank, and I can, grow that out. And now there is also the other Ghani, which is the Bernard Pora, and that is this guy back here. And he is doing super well as well. As you can see, he's growing onto the plate. And I think soon what I'm going to do is actually pry the rock off that plate there, and then try to frag the plate to get a bunch of little colonies, and then we'll glue that rock back onto a new plate and just continue that cycle. I think that's going to be fun. That'll yield a lot of easy frags that I can, sell at future swaps. And last but not least are going to be probably the most popular items in my tank, and that is the SPS. And overall, they've been doing super good. We have some pink Cadillac here, some of the Miyagi Tort, we have some strawberry shortcake. As you can see, the colors are pretty good. It's just hard to capture them because I'm obviously making these videos off of a smartphone and not a professional camera. We have some Fox Flame that is doing super well, and an ASD Rainbow. I have no idea what that is, but it's super pretty. I got that from one of our local reefers. We have a JF Jolt. This came in as a frag, and now as you can see, it has multiple branches coming out. I'm super excited for that. I will need to move this at one point because we do have this little green coral right here, and it has hot pink tips. I really want to keep it, so I want to make sure that these two don't kill each other. As you can see, we have some additional coral. I think this one's called a Pikachu, some ASD Rainbow, some TNT and Acropora, something like that. So quite a few corals here and there, and they are starting to grow really big, and they are also starting to grow into each other. So as you can see, this Slimer right here is starting to grow into my Bill Murray. So we will need to, start trimming basically. But a lot of these other corals, they're just doing super well. I mean, I really don't have much to complain about. If anything, they're growing so well, we're gonna need to start moving these to other places, just because I'm not gonna have the room, and it's gonna be the time to start making decisions on what I want to, chop and sell and what I want to keep. And what that means for me is, for example, I'm getting a lot of shading, so it might be time to start to chop this colony back here. One of the big decisions I'm planning on making is chopping up this green slimer, and the reason being is, as you can see, it's actually shading this entire portion here. So I'm actually not really able to grow any coral right here, which is a big problem because when you stand far back, it's kind of a bald spot on the top of the head of a bald person, but it's a bald spot that I'm not really able to fill, and that's mostly because this green slimer just completely overhangs that spot. So I'm not going to remove the whole thing, but I do plan on chopping up at least a couple of these front branches so I can get more light here, and hopefully we can fill it with some more sticks that'll give it a fuller, more even look. But overall, the tank has been doing super well. As far as fish, I really haven't gotten anything new. I'm not really a fish guy, so besides the utilitarian stuff, they're kind of just whatever to me. I will be adding more fish, but to me, it doesn't really matter what they are. I mean, as long as they're either kind of cool looking or, they serve a purpose, for example, like a tang-eating algae, I'm honestly not too picky. It's whatever I can get with store credit, at our local fish store. But for the future, certain plans are going to be removing a lot of these big corals. For example, maybe the stylophora here, because it is almost the size of like an open fist. It's really big and it's starting to really take over, so that might be a consideration in the future. We may consider also automation, for example, in 2025. Since I do have another job, I don't have a lot of time for this tank, so if I can automate it even more, I will. And with that, I believe I might change everything to a calcium reactor, something that's set it and forget it, and can take care of itself. So even if I'm not home, if I come home late and the lights are off, I don't have to worry about, oh, did this die? Did this touch? Everything will just be taking care of itself, and that'll be perfect. But that is it for today. Thank you for watching the 2-year review of my Red Sea S-1000. And, hopefully the next year will be more fun. I don't know what I'm going to do besides just keep watching this tank grow. I'd like to do more artful stuff, but it really comes down to if I have the time and if my wife will let me. We may be doing some small projects just to make this either more efficient or more automated. We'll see. I just don't know as of yet. But thank you guys as always for watching. I know some of you have watched from the beginning when I pulled this tank into the room, when I've installed the lights, when I've put the rock in. You've been watching me from the beginning, and I really do appreciate it. It's been super fun to see from where it began to what it is now, and that's one of the best things about YouTube, is that you have a recording of when it first started, and how much fatter I've gotten over the 2 years. But yeah, I really do appreciate it, everybody. Thank you guys as always for watching, and I'll see you on the next episode. Peace.